Hi again. I'm here today to show you an old technique that I found in an old issue of Vamp Stamp News. This magazine is no longer in production, but it was a wonderful source of all different kinds of techniques. This was from an October 2004 edition, and it was really buried in a report on conventions, so it was a good idea, and I think a lot of us have maybe forgotten about it. This is the final result. We get that nice background, but I'll walk you through the different steps to get to that point. First of all, I used white matte cardstock, nothing fancy. I pulled out a geometric stamp. It really doesn't have to be a circle. It could be any shape. Use a dye ink, and in this case I used soft rose and soft teal from Memories. And I just randomly stamped the two colors on there, leaving plenty of white space because you need that white space. From that point, I then take a bold stamp. This flourish came from Stampendous, and I used Versamark and a clear powder, and I'm going to emboss some images on there. And I'm not going to go through the entire step, but when you're placing your image, you want to make sure that you get plenty of all the different colors and of the white space. And you randomly stamp several times, 2 or 3 times, whatever it takes to kind of complete, fill some images, make sure you get the corners, that type of thing. Then you're going to emboss with clear powder. I would have done more. Alright, and emboss. I'm just going to quickly show you. You keep heating until you see the color change, and as soon as it changes, you move it to a different spot. Now, I'm going to pretend, through the magic of television, that we are complete. And so I think you can see from this the shiny image. And you see? Okay. That's where the embossing is, and that's where the color is going to be protected. Now, you take a different color. Now, it could be, I like using grays for this because it just kind of accented the colors in the background. But you could use any color, maybe a dark brown if you were using more earth tones. And in this case, I used a Memento London Fog. And I'm going to rub over the entire surface. Now, originally, this technique said use your re-inkers and a cosmetic sponge. I just found this to be simpler and to go much faster. I think you can see how it's covering up, and it's a nice resist. It shows the colors underneath. Cover it completely. Now, if you don't like the darkness, which is what this is, when it first dries, it's dark. You can see a slightly different shade, but it's still pretty dark. If you don't like that darkness, I'm going to use this one that's dry. I just used a fluid chalk by Colorbox that's alabaster in color, and it softens everything. And by just rubbing over top of this, you can see it softening now. I'm not going to go through the whole process of doing that. But what you'll wind up with is this softer look. Now, when you're at this point, I would take a paper towel and wipe off that extra ink that's on there. The other thing that you can do, and I'm going to try to show you the difference. The one on the bottom, the loose one, has not been stamped again. The one in the card has an overstamping. So I liked that look. I like this background also, but I like the overstamped look. So I'm going to take, and this stamp is by Impression Obsession, and it's a big like a background curtain, I would think, almost like, I don't know what this is. It's a cool stamp though. I used again that same Memento London Fog, and I just stamp over top. And it's just a gentle image. Again, I would wipe it with a paper towel to get that extra ink off. Now, the only thing, that would give you your completed background. The only thing, I tried some other images and I want to talk about them a little bit. In this one, I used a solid butterfly. And I don't think it showed up as well because it was too large a bold image that I stamped with. This case, I used a color from the background, which happened to be this soft rose. And it came out much too predominant a color, and therefore you really couldn't see the background. So I would kind of watch the color that you use on top too as your final stamping. So other than that, hope you have fun with this technique. Try it out. Let me know what you think. Bye-bye.